Soldiers of Shoot.
All right, troops. Back here with another SOS. This is General Stames.
Yeah.
I've got the Electric City Saint, Bobby Ventura, sitting to my left. And to my right, who's usually on my left, is Hollywood Edwards. And Hollywood, my feng shui is screwed at this point.
Yeah, Saint, do me a favor. Switch me seats. I can't be over here.
Yeah, got it, bud.
All right. Hang on a second.
It's real professional with the microphone.
It's so funny. We try to be professional, but sometimes that happens. Okay, I'm good.
All right.
Do I sound better over here?
Should I just talk about ROH now?
Why not?
All right, let's talk about some AEW. Write an article on the dirt sheets. Meltzer's out there singing his tunes.
That's your boy.
Kind of read like AEW is still, everything's going all right with the TV deals and that, but there's not going to be an announcement. It's not going to be sooner rather than later. It's going to be later rather than sooner. That they think that they could actually benefit from holding it off for a while because the TV deals with the live sports are getting better and better and better. Here's my worry, and I want to run this by you guys. I don't think they can miss the fall season. I think that they have to be on TV in October for the new fall season. I'd hate like hell to see them delay it more than that. Am I wrong about that? I'll go to you first, Hollywood.
It depends what Meltzer means. And again, this is Dave Meltzer. Everybody knows how I feel about Big Dave. Here's the thing, man. It's March, right? The new season, the fall season won't start till September. So I would say if they're holding off to sign, I'm sure that date that Dave is referring to is this fall, September. Now, that means they don't have to necessarily announce anything. They don't necessarily have to sign anything because maybe they're holding out for a better deal within the time frame from now until September. Because I agree with you 100%. If you announce this company in January, you had your 2 rallies, they're going to have the second show by then they're probably going to have their third show there in Florida. If they wait until 2020, they're going to lose all the momentum they have. They can't do it. They cannot do it. So,
yeah, I agree. Saint, where are you at with this? You agree with that?
Well, first things first, Meltzer, his track record has not been that great in the last year or so, from what I've gathered and what I've read, with all the rumors and stuff that he's presented online with the dirt sheets. So, but as far as AEW goes, I do think that that's probably accurate, that they're probably going to hold out and wait until maybe October, something like that, before they would actually announce a TV deal or have it set up. I guess there's 2 sides of the coin with this. Is I totally agree with what you guys say, because I do feel like if they wait till 2020, that's a big mistake. But at the same time, I kind of like the fact that they're taking their time with this and making sure they get it right, because there's been times where, different shows or different companies or whatever have rushed things and it ends up being a big mess. Now, with the people that they have signed in their company that are going to be running things, and then with the Tony Khan financial backing, I really don't see them having that many, possibilities towards messing it up, because I think they have a lot of good guys that have a big, smart mind for the business that I don't think they have too much to worry about. I think they're going to be all ready to go once this thing kicks off, so I guess it really depends on what way you look at it with this.
I guess Hollywood too. We listened to that podcast from Chris Jericho, and he talked about all the infrastructure people that they have in place for the TV and the pay-per-views, the cameramen and all that kind of stuff. Jericho was familiar with a lot of the guys that they had there. So, to put it off, I mean, what are these guys doing? Are they sitting around waiting? Are they getting paid? What's going on there with these people?
Well, typically from my experience in Hollywood, and I'll have to ask my contact for sure, and you know who he is. He has a great headshot out there on Twitter. I'll come back to that maybe next week. I'll get some clarification. But I think, TV deal, when you're going in for a TV deal, I'm sure the network would like to see some kind of sizzle reel. That's what we call it in the business, the sizzle reel. It's like a trailer. I don't think All In has enough to put together a sizzle reel. Maybe I'm wrong. I would think that they would want to see what the TV show is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they are filming some quick vignettes, some quick one-liners, like it's guys cutting promos or whatever, maybe some backstage action, whatever they're going to do. But I do want to add, as far as the deal itself goes, I don't think what Meltzer is saying is even legitimate, in the sense that he's talking about live sports. Absolutely, all the networks are wanting to get their hands on their own live sports, whether that's UFC or WWE or NFL but the thing is, not every network is going to be interested in it. So I think the networks that are interested probably already made them an offer. So I don't really know where Meltzer's going with this. It's not like, if they wait till August, it's not like the CW is just going to up and go, oh, wait a minute, we're going to dump a bunch of money on you guys for a TV show and it'll be live sports. I don't think that's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I don't really know where he's going with that. I got to think the main networks, they're probably looking at maybe like a Paramount, TBS, TNT. We already heard that rumor. Paramount was Spike. I don't know if they would want pro wrestling again. But there's got to be maybe like a handful. I don't think it's going to get any bigger than that.
Cody keeps on talking about the TV deal being something that will change the wrestling industry. So, I keep trying to think what that means. Is it going to be something like somewhat off the wall? Or is it going to be somebody very big that we wouldn't expect? Or, is it going to be something off the wall that maybe we're not all on board with, like MTV or something like that? I guess we'll have to wait and see with that.
Well, let me ask you guys something before you pass it to Saint. I don't know if they already poo-pooed this or not, but because I think there was buzz going around, well, maybe it's going to be a Netflix. Maybe it's going to be on Hulu. Maybe it's a TV show, in air quotes. But I'm pretty sure Cody already came out and said, no, it's network TV. Do you guys, either of you guys know for sure?
I've not heard that, Saint.
No, I don't really know too much about it, honestly.
Okay, so if their show would be on a live streaming network, like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, one of those, because I mean, I don't know, how would you guys feel about that? What if they do a taping and it's 3 episodes and they can get it up on Netflix right away? Like, what if they're dropping 3 at a time, 5 at a time? Like, I'm trying to open my mind to the words that he used, change the industry. Because it almost makes me feel like it might not be traditional network TV.
Bro, I'm the old guy. So that idea scares the shit out of me. I think that it doesn't allow for as big an audience. Number one. Number two, I don't think it's as fan friendly, if you will.
I disagree with the audience part. I don't want to cut you off, though. Keep going. I'll remember.
How so?
How many subscribers does Netflix have right now? They're over 100 million subscribers. Think about that in terms of original content. 100 million subscribers.
So do you think there are more Netflix subscribers than there are television, people who own televisions and have cable or satellite?
I think it's 2-3 years, it will surpass the regular cable subscriptions if it hasn't already. Yeah. You disagree?
I don't know. I guess I'm just not that familiar with it as far as, and I don't know the numbers. I do watch things on Netflix. To me, it's just easier to turn on my TV and turn on a channel than to go through Netflix now. I mean, that's just me. That's not everybody. That's
because you're a creature of habit.
That's correct.
You're at that point already. But before, this is the last thing I'll say, and I'll shut up because I want Saint to jump in here. But taking Impact, for example, they're on that Pursuit channel, and apparently they're not breaking 20,000 viewers on TV.
Right.
So I can tell you from being in the Twitch chat room, they had 10,000 people. That was their max. It was like the high nines. So really, if you're looking at that from a standpoint of audience versus audience, they're almost doing kind of the same number. You know what I mean? So maybe that is something to look at for a company like AEW.
What about you, Saint? Do you have a preference on seeing them on regular TV or a streaming service such as Netflix?
I'd rather see them get some kind of a legitimate TV deal, but I do agree with what Edward said. He brings up some good points with that because, Netflix, Hulu, different things like that, like YouTube even, it's a growing demographic and it's a growing platform that I think more younger people are gravitating towards rather than having a cable subscription or rather than, watching, stuff on TV. I mean, even we're seeing this with even like sports games like the NFL and the NBA. They a lot of that stuff is available online nowadays. And even like WWE, I've mentioned this on a previous show, that a lot of people my age or younger or maybe a little bit older, I think a lot of them, they feel like they don't really need to desperately watch the whole entire Raw or SmackDown because you could basically get the recap of it in clips online on YouTube. So it's definitely interesting to see where they're going to go with this. I mean, based on the way that Cody worded it, I would think that it is going to be like a legitimate, TV deal, whether that be, Paramount or, whatever. I think that's more likely. But at the same time, if they were to take a risk on like having to be a Netflix type thing, it could definitely either pay off for them big time, or I think it could potentially be a disaster for them because that's the type of thing where like I see both sides of the fence with this. I kind of feel like it could definitely be very hit or miss whether that is successful or not. But I don't know what to think of this quote of his because like at the same time I'm thinking, well, it would have to be something like Netflix, but also maybe it's something that's completely huge, like maybe it's like ABC or CBS or something crazy like that we're totally like not even thinking of because it's something so big and mainstream that you would never think they'd have a professional wrestling show on that. But maybe we're totally overlooking at it. Maybe it is something big like that.
Now, as far as advertising dollars, Hollywood, would AEW do as well going on Netflix? Would they make as much money on Netflix as they would if they were with, say, a TBS or something like that?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I don't know specific numbers, but I just saw recently that Netflix paid something outrageous to keep Friends. And I'm talking it was like $1 billion. So you're talking, I guess, I'm pretty sure Netflix pays a lump sum to the shows that they basically want to buy or lease, if you will.
Wow.
And that's the difference between the subscription services and the ad services that you get on network TV. I can't tell you what they would even offer in AEW, though. That's the thing. Like, would they make more money on television through ads? I don't know. Or would they rather get that lump sum and just go, okay, cool. And if they do, I'm sitting here thinking, listening to Saint talk. If you look at Impact and ROH, and let's face it, they're not going to be competing with the WWE. Not right away. I think they have to look at Impact and ROH. If Impact is pulling in 20,000 on TV, and I think that's being generous right now, and 10,000 on Twitch, it's 30,000. I don't think ROH is pulling in any TV numbers, and they're on Sinclair. So if AEW would go to a streaming service like Netflix, and they can get 50,000 people, 150, 500,000 people, they're automatically the number 2 company on quote-unquote TV in America. Think about that. That's all they would need to do to beat Impact and ROH.
Well, do we have, like, can anyone even have ROH numbers? Because they're on so many different, they're like on local stations, right? So
right,
it'd be pretty hard to get their numbers together, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think at this point. But when they went on to, did they go on Pop that time or no? What were they? They were on that Comet, and I know they weren't pulling in 1 million.
When you say Friends, are you talking about that show from 20 years ago?
Yep.
What the hell?
Yeah, because people go on there and watch old shows. I mean, it's insane.
Wow.
And dude, if you think about it, it's a hell of a lot of money. And apparently people say Netflix is in debt because they just do this. But if you think about it, they are now charging $11.99 per month. If they have 100 million subscribers, what does that compute to a month?
A lot.
A lot. A very lot.
Wow. All right. Hey, Saint, AEW announced that they just signed Allie, former TNA Women's Champion. I have a question about this to you guys. I'm going to start with you, Saint. What are your feelings about AEW now? It looks like they might be using some part-timers, or their deals may be per appearance type things. We already see that they signed the Lucha Brothers, who are also wrestling on Impact. Now we got Ali, who's wrestling on Impact. How do you feel about the use of part-timers? And then specifically, does that change for you when they do get the TV deal, or doesn't it matter?
Well, number one, I think, Allie for them is a good signing, because as of right now, she's the first brand name woman athlete that they've signed, in my opinion. I mean, I look at their female roster, and on paper, I don't know a whole lot about a lot of these people, and that's good and that's bad. I mean, that's for both a man and woman roster, because I feel like at the same time, it's good that they're going to have fresh faces that I've never seen before, but at the same time, I kind of want some brand name star power, like guys that have been released by WWE, or different things like that have been world traveled, that would give me interest in wanting to see them bigger guys in contrast to the more unknown people. So I don't know, as far as I think it's again, it's good or bad, because I think that leaves them the option and the ability to kind of rotate more people in and out of the show, and maybe that would help with the fact that they don't really have the biggest core roster of their own, homegrown guys yet. But at the same time, it all depends on how they're going to utilize them. If somebody's only going to be there, every couple of weeks, should they be getting a big push? That's where I kind of draw the line at it, where I think it's not really a good idea. I guess if they're only going to have somebody be on there for maybe 1 or 2 weeks, and then they're going over their homegrown guys. Now, I know that they're smart. They probably wouldn't do that often, but even Ring of Honor, different companies, we've seen it happen before, where their homegrown guys kind of take a step down for the part-timers.
How about you, Hollywood? Where do you sit on this? And I understand that by doing this, you're saving money in the early going. So, I mean, I get that part of it for the, on the financial side of it. But once they get a TV deal, my fear would be that they would look like an indie company. What do you think?
I don't know why you're even bringing this up, because they signed Michael Nakazawa. So.
True.
And even Matt Jackson knows who he is, obviously. So, no. I agree. I think we've said it before on here. many times. They need their own roster. And we talked on the Impact show. We were asking Impact fans, hey, let us know what their actual roster is, because you have Pentagon and Phoenix on there. They're going to AEW. Are they exclusive deals? I don't know. And I think if they're going to be taken seriously, they need their own roster. Now, we all know the Bucks and Cody and Kenny and Chris are signed there. But what else? Are they the only exclusives? Because if that's the case, you can't be getting into these storylines and then knowing that Pentagon and Phoenix went over to whatever indie and then they were on Impact, and I'm just not a fan of that. So,
but even then, I have to wonder, like, are we at the point where maybe exclusive contracts might even be going away? Because you mentioned Kenny Omega, but they've already kind of said that he's allowed to still do New Japan or DDT, different promotions like that, if he has interest in it. So it almost seems like maybe we're going in a direction where that exclusive contract, as much as I think it's a good thing and it's a smart thing for AEW to officially lock guys down, it almost seems like that it's slowly going away in some cases. Because even like you said, we don't know 100% sure for Pentagon and Phoenix, but it almost still seems like they'll be assigned to TNA or wherever they want to still do too. I mean, it's hard to say at this point.
But if you leave that door open and you don't have exclusive contracts, there's always going to be that fear that Vince McMahon is going to come in and sign guys away, right? I mean,
absolutely.
If Pentagon and Phoenix, start getting over big as a tag team, you think Vince McMahon, if he has an opening where he can go in and sign them to a 5-year deal, that he's not going to do that?
Yeah, and I also think, too, the big 5 guys there that I just mentioned, in Kenny's case, I think he wanted that in his contract, that he can wrestle in Japan. So I think I don't think he can go anywhere else in the U.S. But there's an argument to be made, because suppose, it's in his contract, fine, whatever. Suppose he goes on a DDT show and blows an ACL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to protect your talent.
The other thing that, bothers me in that respect too is, and we saw a lot with New Japan when they would go to ROH or whatever, you'd have guys who were wrestling as faces on one show, heels on another show. They're in a program with this tag team on the one show, with this tag team on another show. It just gets, to me, it's kind of confusing. I don't know. I'd rather them just have their guys with their programs and push them that way. Again, maybe that's me just being old-fashioned. I don't know.
No, I kind of agree.
Maybe I'm old-timey,
Well, we know you're old-timey, but yeah, roster-wise, I agree with you 100%.
And one more thing from AEW that I want to hit you guys with is these trademarks that Cody just announced. So, Prince of Wrestling, I'm going to think that's him. Battle Bowl, Bunkhouse Stampede, and Bash at the Beach. All things that Cody is trying to trademark, I guess, for AEW. Any thoughts on this, Hollywood?
You're saying trying to. What is the status? Just that he's trying? Or that he did?
Well, he filed for the trademark.
Okay, he filed. Well, I think...
why I'm saying trying is because the last time they filed for trademarks, there was a story on all the dirt sheets that they didn't get any of them.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
Which was by the way, that was a false report too, because the 2 days later, the Bucks are putting out a Being the Elite, and they have the Double or Nothing logo on there. I'm sure it's secured. I mean, what are they talking about? These dirt sheets. But anyway, I don't want to get off point. I'm sure Vince McMahon is going to block those applications. I can't imagine him just losing Bash at the Beach willy-nilly. I mean, they're old WCW trademarks, except for the Prince of Wrestling.
Well, I mean, I don't know, how does that process work? Because we saw that an indie wrestler tried to trademark Sister Abigail, and that was one that the WWE gave up on. But they did come in then in the last, in in the last hour, if you will, and they're trying to come against it. Well, how? I just don't understand. Like, if they gave up on the trademark, how do they have any say in that? I don't understand.
They must still own it. Maybe it didn't come to the time where it expired.
So, Bash at the Beach, though, when was the last Bash at the Beach?
Probably 2001 or 2. I don't know if Vince carried on Bash at the Beach when they were running the fake WCW brand on Raw. I don't know. But, I mean, that's where Hogan turned heel, man. I mean, is he going to let that go? And if he does let it go and Cody would own the mark, how does Vince move forward with that when he's showing footage of Hogan on the new DVD of Hogan when he turns? Does he have to edit out anything that says Bash at the Beach? I don't know, but I think it is curious that he's going after old WCW trademarks.
Saint, do you have anything on this?
As far as this goes, I actually think we might be overthinking it, because I think, these are basically Dusty creations. I think he's basically this is more, I think that's just more of a personal thing than it is related to AEW. I think he's essentially just, trying to get the old man's, wrangle the old man's cattle back home, if you look at it from that perspective. Because, these were all definitely Dusty inspired creations, and I think he has even said online that a lot of them aren't going to be AEW related. Whether that's true or not, that remains to be seen. I will say this, though. I am really looking forward to seeing the first ever AEW Bunkhouse Stampede, brother.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome indeed.
For Hollywood Edwards. For the Electric City, say, I am General Stames, saying, so long, troops. We'll see you next time.
Soldiers of Shoot.